which is the appointment of the executive director. If you decide to go into closed session, then you would obviously do items F and G. So, and then we'll be back to the last item, item L, on the letter for CCJPA and the executive director's report.
Perfect. Anybody on the board have anything on that?
Do you need an action taken on eliminating E, Mike, or can we just?
No, you can just
Do it
not.
without objection. Just say it's done without objection.
At the direction of the chair. Yeah.
Thank you. So do we need a closed session?
I do not.
I do not.
I do not.
No.
Powder Shelf does not.
Perfect.
So this is Dan Gillick, General Counsel. I do know that we indicated that one board member was still in the open session as an attendee. Do we need to pause a minute to move anyone back into the panelists so that they can participate in the discussion?
Yeah.
Are we okay, or do we need to pause?
You still have one person in the attendees.
Mike, this is Ken Broadway. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe I've been added to the meeting.
Awesome. Do you need to go into closed session?
Okay,
What was that?
I think it was a question, Ken. Do you feel like we need a closed session to go over our executive director appointment?
I do not. No, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so then we will move on to item H. Executive director appointment.
Okay, I will present the report, and then we also have Matthew Click here. The board of directors, at their request, initiated a recruitment for a new executive director with my pending retirement. We went through a rigorous process of a recruitment. We hired the firm of Wendy Brown and Associates. Wendy is also a panelist this morning if you needed to ask her any questions or any additional information related to the recruitment. We went through a process of about a month of an open recruitment with the brochure sent very widely to many outlets for recruiting such a position. That position closed, and we were successful at garnering 42 applications. Those 42 applications were then reviewed by Wendy Brown and Associates, myself, and the subcommittee of the board, which included Chair Baker, Chair Jones, Vice Chair Jones, Director Broadway, and Director Joyner. Those were culled, if you will, down to 15 candidates, of which phone interviews were conducted with those candidates. The result of those phone interviews were presented to the subcommittee, who then chose 5 candidates to have a first interview. Those first interviews were held in September, and then 2 candidates forwarded to the full board at the September 28th meeting, at which time the board made a decision to move forward with Matthew Click as the preferred candidate, and directed the chair and myself to negotiate a contract. We worked with Mr. Click to negotiate a 3-year contract through December 2025, with a yearly salary of $236,114, a $450 a month automobile allowance, 100 hours of administrative leave, and then standard agency benefits that all agency staff has. There is a incentive for a favorable one-year performance review in January 2024, which would increase his salary if so chose by the board by 5% and a payment of $200 per pay period contributed to a deferred compensation plan if he successfully completes his first year of service. I would note that those benefits are in the OWP, as well as having 2 executive directors for a short period of time of approximately 30 days in place for transition. And also note that those that salary level and benefits is outlined in the contract for Mr. Click, which is attached to your board item, are actually my current benefits and salary level right now. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. The draft employment agreement is attached to your report for your consideration this morning, and your consideration and potential adoption. And then I would recommend that after the board takes action, you may want to ask Mr. Click to say a few remarks.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Questions?
What was
No
that?
question.
No questions? Okay. Do we open this up for public comment? Does anybody in the public have any comments?
Sorry, Director, I'm just double checking here. I do not see any raised hands.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll bring it back to the
How to Shell moves the item.
perfect. Thank you.
Dowden Calvillo second.
We have a motion and a second. Solly?
Baker,
Aye.
Broadway,
yes,
Burris,
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo,
Aye.
see Holmes yet, Howdeshelt,
Aye.
Joyner,
Aye.
Jones, Wilkins. Motion passes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really want to thank staff, our subcommittee and full board for the work that went into this. I know it wasn't easy, but I appreciate everyone's work. Matt, would you like to say anything?
Good morning, board. I have to admit, I find myself just, a touch emotional. It's been a long process that we've gone through. I just am very thankful for the opportunity, and I'm humbled and I feel honored to be able to lead the agency. I know our future is bright. We're going to build a nation that Mike and his team has laid. And, Mike and I have already begun to talk, working hard on transition planning so I can hit the ground running. I'm just really excited to be your new executive director. I'm looking forward to working hard every day with our staff for Placer County. We have so much to do. I'm really looking forward to get going. So thank you very much. And I'm happy to entertain any.
Thank you, Matt. Is there any questions from the board?
Welcome, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Matt. We appreciate you coming aboard, and we look forward to working with you.
See you next week.
All right. All righty, we will move on to item I, letter requesting additional bus services for early morning CJPA trains. Who has this one?
I will present this.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Perfect.
Yes, at the board's request, at the last meeting, the board requested that staff bring back an item to consider a letter requesting additional bus service for early morning CCJPA trains. In addition to myself here today, we also have Managing Director of CCJPA, Rob Pageant, as well as both Will Garner and Jamie Wright with Placer County Transit as well. But I will try to cover most of this myself, and they're available for questions if needed. So CCJPA, as part of their recovery plan, modified train scheduled service on October 3rd to essentially change the train time, push that back to the time that was set forth in the prior change to 6:30 instead of 5:30. What happened when that occurred was that a number of train passengers originating at the Roseville station had gotten used to that service and had been using that service to access their jobs down in the Bay Area and specifically down in the San Leandro area. And so change, when it comes to public transit service, although it may be necessary for financial reasons and as outlined in the staff report, this is part of CCJPA's overall recovery plan and getting back to service in a very challenging time when we don't have a lot of folks return to work as yet. But change is difficult and it requires people to adjust their schedules accordingly, if possible, or to seek other modes of transport. And so that service went into effect on October 3rd. There is another bus that goes from the Roseville station, an Amtrak Thruway bus, 35 minutes earlier. However, there is not a bus service from the Auburn station. And the reason that is because we are still at a point of reduced commuter service for Placer County Transit. At one point in time in the past prior to the pandemic, there was earlier bus service for commuters that has not yet been restored. The hope is that when we have a return to work for state workers, which recent developments is that the governor has now pushed that off until February of 2023. And so, as we get closer to that date, is our hope that Placer County Transit can restore service. There is also an opportunity, and CCJPA and Placer County Transit are working together to examine the potential to convert the throughway buses to PCT. So, if you will, combine forces to produce a better bus service between Placer County and the Sacramento rail station. So long term, there is a strategy in the plan to restore service, but unfortunately at this point, because of the high cost of this bus bridge, which would be at least, and this is a very low dollar amount, but at least $100,000 per year to add that bus service. And at this point in time, that is not an amount that is able to be supported given the ridership that's in place, nor are there financial resources either at the Placer County level or the CCJPA level to support that at this time. So staff's recommendation at this time would be to not write that letter because we feel that there is not the financial resources in place to be able to do that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. And again, Rob Pageant with Capital Corridor is here, as well as Will Garner and Jamie Wright with PCT.
Thank you, Mike. Is there any questions of board members?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mike, thank you for doing the research on this. This was something that I had encouraged us to pursue. And thank you for the clarification that there is not that earlier train or earlier bus going from Auburn or Rockland. It's just going from Roseville. So I appreciate that. What I would ask then, given the report that you provided at this time, is that the governor is relaxing the state of emergency, or actually eliminating it. I think it's as of the 28th of February. I just got a memo about it. But what I'd like to do is to revisit this issue, maybe in April or so, once the emergency declaration has been removed and the state employees, like you said, are going back to work, and there would be the additional ridership. I know right now what folks are doing that used to take the earlier train, at least from Auburn, and I'm sure from Rockland as well, is they're just driving down to the Sacramento station and then using the train from there to get down to the Bay Area, because there is not that bridge. But so I would recommend that we table this until April or so, and I'd like to revisit it then, once we see state employees going back to work and having a better ridership for that.
Okay. Awesome. Anybody else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Alice. I think that's a prudent approach, and I would support delaying this until April after we see what the return to work ridership actually is.
Okay.
Do we need a motion on that, since this is an item on the agenda?
We'll probably have to do public comment first.
Yep.
And then probably a motion on that.
Yep.
Anybody else from the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll open it up to public comment. Solly, do you have anybody out there that wishes to comment on this item?
Looking. I see no raised hands.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll bring it back to the board for, I guess, a motion.
I will second Dowden Callejo's motion. Okay.
Yeah, so my motion is to table the item until April.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Baker,
Aye.
Broadway,
Yes.
all right. Burris, Dowden Calvillo,
Aye.
Holmes, Howdeshelt,
Aye.
Joyner,
Aye.
Wilkin, no one can. Okay, did I hear Burris? Pardon me.
Yes, you did. Sorry.
Okay, that's
Having
okay.
some trouble coming off mute.
That's okay. One of those days. Okay, motion still passes.
Awesome. Thank you. Moving on to item J, Executive Director's Report. Mike?
Mr. Chair, I would defer my report to the next regular meeting on October 26th. So I have no executive director's report at this time, other than to thank the board for its participation in the recruitment process for the executive director, and to thank you for your patience with going back to this virtual meeting today.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. All right, board direction to staff. Does anybody have anything for staff?
Just letting folks know I won't be present for the October 26th meeting, but I'm asking my alternate Sandy Amar to attend, so.
Perfect.
Same here.
Same here.
You won't be at the meeting either, Paul? You're gonna ask
I
Sandy
will
to-
not.
You're gonna
I
ask
will-
Sandy to be there for you too?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I won't be here either.
We can all give our proxy to Sandy, right?
Wow.
Well, staff can contact your alternates if you desire. So, and which Director Dowden Calvillo has done. So we can contact alternate Silhai and alternate Clark Kretz. So
I've contacted Clark Kretz, so, and they've been sent agendas, so I think we're good on that.
Awesome.
Sylvie,
Well-
will you send the agenda to Sandy as well? I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I put it in her inbox yesterday.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Awesome. Appreciate the board's work and staff's work, and we will call this one adjourned.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Bye.